Personal Contemplations on the Gene Keys. And we're on Gene Key 5. This is an offset of Human Design, the Gene Keys. It's just an offset of Human Design, and this is a wonderful book that I'm so excited to share with y'all. Gene Key 5, The Way of Patience. Shadow, impatience. Gift, patience. Programming partner, Gene Key 35. Dilemma, surrender. City, timelessness. Codon ring, the ring of light. The transformational way of the 5th gene key moves from impatience to timelessness, and it's the way of patience. The shadow of impatience is an interesting one. It's also very contemporary. We're becoming a more and more impatient species. Part of this is due to our pace of life and the technology we have in place that makes everything so fast. There's not much we have to wait for these days. If we want something, it's generally there at the click of a button. If we go to a culture where things are more primitive, or more simple, I should say, then we can have a deep realization about impatience. Take meals, for example. When we're hungry, we generally just eat. A lot of the time, we even eat when we aren't hungry. In simpler cultures, many people eat only once a day. Another thing we may see is people sitting around doing nothing. It's not that they're lazy, but that their rhythm is different. The drive to earn money really changes a culture. I'm not saying one thing is good or bad, and I'm not wanting to romanticize the poorer nations and cultures either. However, there are things we can learn from each other. Generally, the more time we have to pause and look around us, the more we appreciate life, and the kinder we are. Kindness is linked to patience. Impatience is linked to intolerance, the shadow of the 4th gene key, one back in the sequence. If we go on forward in the sequence, we come to the 6th gene key and the shadow of conflict. Impatience is sandwiched between intolerance and conflict, which already tells us a lot. Impatience is even seen as a good thing by some. Some speak of it with a kind of pride. But that's mixing impatience with enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is unbridled, optimistic, positive energy, and it has an innocence and freedom to it. The moment enthusiasm becomes impatient, the water is muddied. Think about it. We have a big job ahead of us, and our working partner is full of enthusiasm. That's going to be a fun job. Now imagine the same person full of impatience. Not a fun job, so impatience has created a drop in frequency. It puts tension and nervousness in the air. It's an uncomfortable energy to be around. It'll also ensure that whatever job is undertaken, it will neither go smoothly nor be fulfilling. In fact, it may even fail. The timing will be out. The rhythm will be unstable and erratic. There will be stress. The programming partner of the 5th gene key is the 35th gene key, the shadow of hunger. This hunger isn't just physical, it's emotional and intellectual. It's insatiable. Let's look at our own impatience in any situation when it gets triggered. My greatest test of patience is being a parent. Children really push our impatience buttons, especially when we have several children. They start getting at each other, which as far as I can tell, all children do from time to time. They drive us to distraction. That's my personal edge of impatience. Sometimes I lose it, I just lose my composure. I forget all my grand teachings and just lose it. Every parent knows exactly what I mean. We all have our edges. Impatience is an undercurrent in our society, and it's now part of our culture. Therefore, to transmute the shadow in our life, we have to go directly against the grain of the culture. When I was younger, I lived in New York for a while. I somehow, God knows how, because I was a bearded madman at the time, ended up going out with this beautiful woman, a successful model. We were like Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, she loved me, and I was pretty footloose, so she invited me to her modeling sessions. I was in a deep meditative phase of my life. How blissful it was. In those kind of professions, just like in the movie business, there's a huge amount of waiting. I'd just sit there on a chair watching the whole scene. I'd literally be there for hours, just sitting. Sometimes I'd close my eyes, sometimes I'd open them. And I created this huge stir. It's weird, really. Everyone was talking about me. They all chilled out. Things went more smoothly around the sets. I was just happy being there. That's what we covet now as a society. The more affluent we become, the more we wish to get back to the simple truths. The dilemma here is surrender. This is what impatience is teaching us, to surrender. Impatience teaches us patience. It's a marvelous thing in that respect. We have to let go and realize that we're mad, that our mind has gone mad, that life will flow in the way it wishes to, and that if we fight it, we'll only create problems and ill health for ourselves. So please look at your life and see how deep your impatience is. How much do we let it run our life? Do we feel the joy of surrender? Our awareness of impatience will ultimately help us let go and surrender into the core of ourself, so that we breathe again in depth. Then our life will start to become simple once again, all on its own. The fifth gift, patience. This gift is my life purpose. In my profile, the fifth gene key is my purpose. I've often joked that if our life purpose is patience, then we can be sure we're going to need it. It's the same with all our gifts. So I've had to learn patience. I'm still learning it. To me, there are two types of patience. There's surface patience, and then there's deep patience. Surface patience is a good start. It's a technique we can employ. It's really all about learning to wait. We witness our own impatience, stop the action that was coming out of that impatience, and simply wait. The impatience probably continues beneath the surface, so we still feel uneasy, touchy, and anxious. But we stop the activity that recreates the loop and learn to wait. We have to learn to pause, be still, breathe. Over time, surface patience goes deeper inside. We begin to spontaneously relax, and then surrender happens. We can't do a surrender technique. It's just something that happens in our body. Then deep patience begins. It's like a kind of cooling mist that rises up and calms our aggravated system. It stills the hungry flames. It moistens our dryness. It settles our spirit. It's watery rather than fiery. When we learn to contemplate, this is the state that we'll discover hiding inside, this deep patience. It's actually fathomless. The more we catch our impatient, clinging mind, the more we'll find this inner space. It'll begin to open in us, and we'll find that we can just sit for hours. The other thing about patience is that it's the underlying foundation of love. Patience is the way in which the shadow transforms into the gift, so it's fundamental to every aspect of the gene keys. It's the field, the spaciousness, the cauldron, in which the dynamic change, the alchemy of life occurs. In the words of Binsa Duanu, the great world teacher, the secret of patience is this. When someone offends you, you should find the good aspect of the offense and make use of it. An offense is a very hard walnut that someone has given you. You need to break the shell, remove the nut, and eat it. If you can feed yourself in this way, you will be completely healthy. When people speak bad of you, when they blame you for something, they are providing you with food. If you know how to use this food correctly, you will be most satisfied. Patience creates the conditions for love's manifestation. It is the first fundamental quality of love's arrival, its vanguard. Patience is love's vanguard. What a beautiful concept. This is the whole work we're each here to do. to transform the suffering that our fate brings us, to accept it gladly into an opening heart, and use that heart to open to deeper love. Patience is absolutely key in this. It isn't just a nice side plate, it's the main course. So let's treasure patience and measure our progress by how patient we are. Patience is needed more than ever in times of interpersonal conflict. We have to continue to treat others with respect, forgiveness, and patience. Then we leave the rest up to God, or the universal flow. The most we can do is love someone, send them good thoughts and feelings, and then wait and trust that destiny will shape the correct course over time. Some difficulties take years, even lifetimes, to resolve. But if we've cultivated deep patience, this won't matter to us. We can just accept people as they are. This is what we learn in the Venus sequence, in part 2 of the Golden Path. We learn the art of returning all non-love with love. And that's another way of saying we learn the great art of patience. The fifth city, timelessness. In our spiritual path, patience rules supreme. I can't think of a single quality that's more needed on a spiritual path. Love, of course, but then we have just seen that patience is the foundation of love. Why patience? Well, for one thing, it's not what people want or seek, so that tells us a lot. In the Tao Te Ching, a well-known verse says of the qualities of the true sage. Sages thus seek what no one else seeks. They don't prize hard-to-get goods. They study what no one else studies. They turn to what others pass by. To help all things remain natural, they dare not act. Patience doesn't look that exciting, does it? But a person with deep patience is capable of everything. The other reason we need patience with ourselves is because we constantly fall off the horse. In spiritual practice, our focus wavers from time to time, as the world pulls at us, tests us, pushes us. We also make mistakes, although from the point of view of deep patience, there aren't any mistakes. There's only just learning, so patience gives us the long-term perspective and dissolves time. This is when we begin to move towards the city of timelessness. Time is the great linchpin of awakening. We live like fish submerged in time. We live, eat, and breathe time. We don't know anything other than time. Consciously or unconsciously, we're the product of our past thoughts, beliefs, and actions, and our future is being formed in every present moment. We're forming our own future right now, as we listen to or read these very words. What kind of future will we form? This is why the mystics have always pointed us towards the present, because they know that the present creates the future, and the future always holds the promise of awakening. I've come to an impasse in words with this paradox. While the future holds that promise, we still awaken in the present, and we have to build that present. My teaching differs slightly from the traditional model of mindfulness that calls us over and over to come into the present and observe all passing away. Contemplation is different from meditation. It sometimes uses the higher mental body, the causal plane, to attune to that which is coming into form. For example, we hold a vision for the future manifestation of the kingdom of heaven coming to earth. I'm being realistic here. We can see that heaven is not yet here on earth, but one day it will be. We attune to that future certainty, and over time as we do this, we bring that certainty into the cells of our body, and then carry it into the present moment. I find this a beautiful paradox, to carry the future in the present. We also carry the past in the present. We carry the memory of our loved ones, our ancestors. We carry all that is best in them. We transmute all the shadow that they left by remembering only that which was fine and beautiful about them. We carry that too in the present. You see, there really is only one present. Past and future are gathered here in that moment. The great masters and initiates have always visited this plane, They are our future, and they were here at the beginning. We began with a golden age, we fell from grace, and we shall return again to a golden age. The masters, or I should say the master, incarnates from timelessness into time, coming from outside the water, diving into time, and teaching us about life above the water. As we dive, we return into the timeless realm. We return into the boundless. It isn't somewhere else far away. It's right here within. No one ever dies. Nothing ever dies. Life is nothing but eternity. Ideas change shape. Humans change shape. It's the same thing. The essence is the same. The essence remains always. The one we love who has died hasn't died. Their essence is within us. They haven't gone to the stars far away. A part of them has, but those stars are also within us. They're closer than breath, closer than heartbeat. That which is best in them now beats in our hearts. When the master descends into the form, he or she does so to play a pivotal role within the game of time. Life is like one of those addictive TV series that continues to unfold. That's evolution. And the master represents our future. They are our future right now. In the game as it stands today, we are at a threshold moment. A new age is opening up, a new epoch, a new Aquarian epoch. The symbol of Aquarius is interesting. Symbols are the ways the gods communicate. They're like the chapter headings of evolution, these signs. Aquarius is the water bearer. It captures the idea of abundance, of water being poured from a vessel, but at the same time, it's an air sign. Like the dragonfly of the Gene Keys, the coming epoch is a movement from water into air. The fish will sprout wings and fly into the air. We are those fish. We are those dragonflies emerging from the waters of the Piscean age. Any astrologer will tell you that Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, the father of time. Uranus is the unpredictable, the unchangeable, the changeless, the dervish. That which will come after will bear little resemblance to that which we see now. The causal plane is that plane of being that lies beyond logic, beyond science, and beyond the objective mind. All that we hold so dear now, our empirical view of the world, will fall away. It must. We don't see the causes at present. We don't realize that we're powerful beyond measure, not as materialists, but as spiritual beings. Can we imagine what the world might be like if time starts to break down? Can we imagine the chaos? This is what Uranus is bringing. Time has been our crutch for so long. When we begin to see through the veil of time into the eternal, then all our taboos will crack, and the greatest taboo of all is death. One day in the now, we will remember all our incarnations. We will see the future as the Master does. The Master can't disclose the future, at least not ordinarily. He or she can indicate it in big gestures, and sometimes in specific cases, but otherwise it's a secret. The time is coming when time will melt, and therefore along with it, space. Time and space are two sides of the same spinning coin. I love that the secret of time in physics is held by the image of the black hole. Many times I've spoken of the black hole and its relationship to the white hole. The black hole dissolves time and leads through the wormhole into the white hole, which is eternity. We're eternal. Contemplate that. Sometimes I contemplate eternity. I just take the word and roll it around inside myself until it softens me and diffuses my boundaries. I become all syrupy. I begin to merge with the higher bodies. Tune into that cellular certainty of the end of time. Our consciousness will know it when we die, not very long from now. Contemplate it often. Smother yourself in it. Smooth your passage towards it and see your role in the evolutionary saga. See your current role, your current incarnation within time, and play it to the hilt. One day, this game will come to an end and we'll all be unified, so bring that certainty into the now. Don't get caught up in worrying about the details of the plan. Don't worry about the Maya. We can help when and where we can, but we needn't worry. I'm going to finish with a beautiful prayer I often do as I meet the sunrise. Listen particularly to the last line. I repeat that line over and over until I'm immersed in its truth. I always see the paradox of knowing it, and yet still being at a stage in the drama where it hasn't come about yet. Paradoxes such as this are to be enjoyed. Holy incantation of solace. May love pour through our soul. May light flower in our heart. May warmth radiate our belly. May purity shimmer in our bones. May kindness resound in our voice. May clarity shine through our mind. May solace abound in our life, touching all who we meet. May solace abound in the world, bringing all beings into perfect union. From the Spring of Dreams, selected poetry and prayers by Richard Redd. And on the next live stream of this reading, we will be on the sixth way, which is Gene Key 6. I'm so excited to share this with you, and I'm so glad that you joined me today for this. I will see you on the next live stream or video. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and or join as it is popping off on the membership tiers. I'll see you next time. Be well, stay wild as well.